Good afternoon and welcome to News 6 Extra. I'm News 6 anchor Elise Sabel. Today is Tuesday, September 30th. Our producer, Kathleen Winningham, is standing by on this last day of September. Can you believe October is almost here, Kathleen?
I know. It seems like September just flew by.
I don't know
where
it
went.
does. And I know we are all anxiously awaiting for fall to arrive, those fall-like temperatures. But in the meantime, we're still dealing with the tropics. It's still hurricane season through November.
I know. I was just thinking like maybe we could get through without having anything, but we still have a ways to go. So unfortunately.
We certainly do. And today, the big weather story, of course, is the effects that we are seeing from Imelda that is off of our coast. We're certainly seeing some rough surf up and down the east coast of Florida, as well as some cloudy skies and some scattered showers. So our meteorologist, Julie Broughton, is standing by with more on the impacts from the tropical activity that we're seeing right now.
I'm meteorologist Julie Broughton. Hope your Tuesday is going well. It continues to be busy in the tropics. We are tracking both Hurricane Imelda and Hurricane Umberto. Imelda finally making that turn, moving away from us, but we are still feeling impacts along our coast. We're talking about rough surf and high surf advisories in place until the weekend. As this moves away from us, Umberto is beginning to weaken and again continuing to send some swell our way as well. Now here's how it looks as we continue to take you to the latest update. This came out at 11. Now, Imelda was upgraded to a hurricane at 8 o'clock this morning. As of 11 o'clock, winds are at 80 miles per hour, and it is moving to the northeast at 7 miles per hour. And we do think we'll see some gradual strengthening as it continues moving to the northeast, affecting Bermuda as a Category 2 hurricane by Wednesday evening, with winds up to 100 miles per hour as it continues moving into the northern Atlantic. Now, this is what it's doing for our weather. This is a look from our Daytona Beach sky cam a little bit earlier, and you notice the surf really churned up. All the dark clouds, all the rain along the coast is where we have the best chance of seeing some pockets of heavy rain. Also dealing with some gusty winds. Now, this is what it looks like for us a little bit earlier. Winds were gusting close to 30 miles per hour in parts of Brevard County and up to 23 miles per hour in New Smyrna Beach. And you will run into some breezy conditions as you are out and about really anywhere in central Florida today. Radar scanning out showing most of the rain is out over the Atlantic, but some of this has been brushing our coastline as we have moved through our day today. And we'll continue to see some quick moving tropical downpours really all day before drier air begins to build in for a transition day for us for our Wednesday. So your clouds and rain forecast does keep some of those showers around, taking you through the rest of the day with rain chances at 60 to 70% generally along and east of I-95. But some of those showers have already been holding together, making it as far west as areas like Ocala and down toward the Villages. Rain chances in Orlando are at 40%. Now, we started the day generally in the 70s, and our temperatures today will be cooler than normal. We'll top out generally in the mid to upper 80s, 87 by 3 o'clock, and then we'll keep it in the mid to upper 80s. Now, our Wednesday, a little bit of a transition day with rain chances dropping to 30%, but our pattern shifts into the weekend, and that bumps our rain chances up to 60% by Friday.
All right, Julie, thank you. And as Julie mentioned, Imelda, now a hurricane after gaining strength in the Atlantic, of course, also keeping an eye on Umberto. All of that, though, creating some pretty dangerous surf conditions along our coast. Your Volusia County community correspondent, Angie Casada, was out along the coast today and spoke with beach safety officials who are urging swimmers to stay out of the water.
Heavy surf is pounding the coast all morning long. Take a look at these waves. They've been pretty intense, and they're expected to reach around 9 feet today here in Volusia County. Lifeguards say rip currents are especially dangerous, urging swimmers to stay out of the water unless they're right in front of a staff tower like this one, but that's at your own risk.
I just saw the waves from afar and was like, I gotta get close up, gotta check it out. God's nature right out here.
Hundreds of rescues have been made over the past several days, with one swimmer, a 51-year-old visitor, losing his life over the weekend, making people like Maxwell Van Wheeler think twice.
Yeah, I definitely am one of those types of people who would go into the water when it's a little bit more turbulent than normal. But yeah, hearing that, I'm taking a second guess.
I believe he was here with family, and he was swimming in an unguarded area. That's why it's so important to make sure you're swimming in front of those staff lifeguard towers at all times. Even the strongest swimmers get caught in rip currents, and it's just a lot of people underestimate the power of a rip current.
Red flags are up along the coast with conditions expected to start easing tomorrow. In Daytona Beach, I'm your Volusia County community correspondent, Angie Casada, News 6.
Looking a little nasty out there along the coast today. Well, just a few hours ago, we heard from the attorney who is representing the family of the man who died after riding a roller coaster at Epic Universe. That's the Stardust Racers coaster at Epic. Well-known attorney Ben Crump, along with family of the man who died, spoke at a news conference earlier today. News 6's Mark Lehman was there and explains what they are now saying about that ride at Epic.
Attorney Ben Crump says it was important to hold this news conference here in Orlando after learning there were several other riders who were injured on this same attraction. He says that raises a number of red flags and that Universal should have taken action much sooner.
We want these answers so that we can have some peace.
The family of Kevin Rodriguez Zavala says they wanted to speak up again after hearing from people who have experienced the Stardust Racers roller coaster. Kevin's sister reading a message that was posted on his GoFundMe from a woman who says she was hurt on the ride back in May.
I too lost consciousness, suffered a concussion, injuries to my neck and spine.
What did they do about it when they got these complaints? That's the question.
Attorney Ben Crump says the account and others show there were warning signs before Rodriguez Zavala died after riding the attraction earlier this month.
Problems with restraints, riders being thrown forward, hitting hard structures. This shows that Kevin's case was not an isolated incident.
The medical examiner attributing the death to multiple blunt impact injuries. Under state law, Universal and other large theme parks are exempt from state safety inspections, which the attorneys say may need to change.
We will be calling upon greater government oversight of large companies like Universal instead of just letting them self-report.
And while an investigation continues, both Universal and the Florida Department of Agriculture have said the ride was functioning as intended when the incident happened. Crump says Universal is cooperating with his office in scheduling a time for his experts to inspect the coaster. He is, however, still calling for the autopsy results and video footage of the ride, which remains closed. In Orlando, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Mark, thank you. We are going to take a quick break right now, but coming up, we are less than 12 hours away from a potential government shutdown if Congress cannot reach an agreement on a budget deal. There's a lot of back and forth that's happening right now. We're going to have the latest on that coming up right after the break. Welcome back to News 6 Extra. It is Tuesday, September 30th, and today all eyes are on what's happening on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Congressional leaders have now less than 12 hours to come to a funding agreement in order to keep the federal government open. If they don't, the federal government is set to shut down. The deadline is midnight tonight, and as CBS's Nicole Killian explains, the shutdown would impact not only government workers, but everything from air traffic controllers to the TSA.
Come midnight, the federal government is poised to shut down.
I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing.
The vice president and congressional leaders emerged from a brief closed-door meeting with President Trump Monday without an agreement in hand.
For the first time, the president heard our objections and heard why we needed a bipartisan bill.
Republicans have proposed a short-term bill to fund the government through mid-November. The measure passed the House this month.
If the Democrats make the decision to shut the government down, the consequences are on them.
But Democrats say any deal must address health care, including an extension of subsidies under the Affordable Care Act to prevent a premium hike at the end of the year.
Are you open to compromise?
We've said from the beginning that we're willing to find a bipartisan path forward, and our line in the sand is the bill has to help everyday Americans, not hurt everyday Americans.
Across from the Capitol, some federal workers are bracing for impact as the White House has asked agencies to consider more mass layoffs for programs that don't align with the president's priorities if a shutdown occurs.
They've been threatening us since day one and carrying it out. And I think all of us have come to terms with the fact that we might be fired at any time and for any reason.
Jamie Billard's husband is in the Coast Guard and, like many service members, won't be paid until a deal is done.
It's another ask for military families to try to navigate. There's a possibility that your member's not going to get a paycheck for the second half of the month. So it's another plate that you have to keep spinning.
If there is a shutdown, some essential services would continue, like Social Security benefits and mail delivery, but national parks and museums would close. A new economic analysis estimates that a shutdown could cost the U.S. economy about $7 billion a week. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
All right, we want to bring back Kath Lee, who is standing by at a computer across from our newsroom. Of course, we are coming to you on News 6 Extra through the internet. Kath Lee, do you remember back in the day when we would have to insert a CD-ROM in order to get online?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And then wait for that screeching dial-up.
It sounds kind of like a fax machine, if you will. We're talking about AOL, of course. You'd get those CDs in the mail and it would say you have like 100 minutes to go online, but it would take about 100 minutes just to open your email. However, for a lot of people, this image here conjures up a simpler time. Today, however, is the last day for that service. Now, we know many people ditched dial-up years ago. AOL says in 2023, about 163,000 households were still waiting to hear that screech-filled dial-up tone. Of course, AOL gaining popularity in the 1990s, giving Americans a way to connect to the online world. It became popular in movies. Of course, there are famous lines. I don't know what happens if you still have an AOL email address. What happens to that?
I can tell you, I still have an AOL email address.
You do?
I do. That is my main email address is AOL, and it still works. I don't pay for AOL, and it still works. So hopefully this doesn't change it, or I'm not going to have an email address.
We'll send you an email. We'll do a test email and see if it works.
Right. It's just one I've had since college, and I've kept it. So I'm one of the few. I do get strange looks when I go to stores and they ask for your email, and I say AOL. They kind of give me a like I'm not
like, how old are you?
Right. And like maybe I'm not like up with the times, like I don't have Gmail or anything. So I do get weird looks.
I have a Hotmail account.
Okay.
And I wear that as a badge of honor. And it is interesting. I do notice it when other people have a Hotmail account. And that too I got in college. So that's funny.
So, maybe it's just we're holding on to those simpler times.
There you go. A little bit of nostalgia. All right. So, of course, we're in the Sunshine State, but we're also known for our gators and our wildlife. And it's not unheard of for a community to come together to help during a time of an emergency. But in Georgia, a group rallied together to remove an unwanted visitor who wouldn't leave a drive-through there. I feel like this would be welcomed here in Florida. As reporter Maggie Fitzgerald explains, that trespasser was a 12-foot gator.
A 12-foot alligator took up residence near the drive-thru of a McDonald's on Rocky Creek Road this weekend, and it stayed there for days. Witnesses say the gator first appeared Friday, and after multiple calls to law enforcement and animal control, it remained in the parking lot by Sunday afternoon. That's when Macon rapper and music producer Lord DeAndre and a group of other bystanders say they took matters into their own hands.
Lord DeAndre, the alligator man. Yeah. I guess we can go with that.
Now dubbing a new nickname in honor of his efforts, he says the group grabbed any supplies lying around to try and wrangle the gator.
Dude pulls up with some duct tape and a shoestring. He starts taunting the gator. Me and her brother Ty, we was like, it's our time now for real, we finna get this thing. I started yanking him back, walking him.
He's walking
it like a pit bull.
like a dog. It was something wholesome. Like, the community really did come together to do something that our authorities would not do. Basically, not in good enough time.
Captain Linda Howard with the Bibb Sheriff's Office says law enforcement was aware of the gator sightings. She says animal control responded to the scene on Saturday.
And by the time they arrived, it had gone back into the water. We had a trapper that we were trying to get in contact with because our animal control cannot handle this one gator by herself. We just have one person that usually do the wildlife.
By 8:30 Sunday night, a licensed trapper removed the gator, which has now been relocated to Lawrence County. As for the group, they're calling for faster response times from law enforcement in wildlife emergencies.
We showed that the city can come together for something positive. They waited till it could have been a potential hazard. Like, it was a lot of people here, yeah, but they didn't come until after they seen us actually wrangling it.
Kathleen.
When I saw the story, I'm all for people coming together and helping each other out. But I'll be honest, I don't think I would have got in on that action. I'm not messing
Not with a
12
shoestring.
Right. A shoestring and duct tape. No way. No way. I will watch from afar, but I'm not getting anywhere near a 12-foot gator.
I don't even think if it were a 2-foot gator, I would go near that thing with some duct tape and a shoestring. But
no way.
Glad to hear that it all worked out. The gator's now been removed. Everyone is safe. So that's good to know. Do you have any plans on this Tuesday night?
Not really. I'm not one to go out on a school night very much.
Yes.
So.
And you have a fairly early wake-up call.
I do.
Yeah.
So I will probably maybe binge watch something. Something, stream, but no big plans. How about you?
The producer of our 4 o'clock show, who's also our entertainment reporter, Brooke, she and I will be going to the Dr. Phillips Center tonight to see the opening night of The Wiz, which I am so excited. It's the beginning of the 2025-2026 Broadway series at the Dr. Phillips Center. Always such a great series of shows that they bring to Central Florida, and they are opening with The Wiz tonight. So I've never seen it before. Have you seen The Wiz?
I'm trying to say I saw the movie years ago, but I have not. So it should be fun, though. I bet they would do a really good job.
They are always just fantastic. I'm always just blown away, of course, at the sheer talent, but the costumes, the stage, all of it. So I'm really looking forward to that. And after opening night, I always post my review on clickorlando.com and social media. But I will be sure to email it to you at your email account tomorrow. So I want you to see if it works and see if you can click on that link.
Perfect.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining us on News 6 Extra. Of course, you can always get the latest headlines and my Dr. Phillips Center Broadway reviews at clickorlando.com. And be sure to join us for our next newscast starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon.